Thank you, John and Helen. Last week, we delved deeper into culture when I discussed culture, tradition, and heritage with my dad, Kabiesi Obagbenga Shonuga. Today, I'm super stoked to be sitting with the larger-than-life character that is Charlyboy, answering the question, what has changed in our culture? Because if, as Kabiesi said last week, culture is dynamic and constantly changing, there must be a clear difference in yesteryear's culture versus the culture of today. So without further ado, welcome, Charlyboy. And thank you so much for honoring my invitation.
I'm glad to be here.
So, in the few minutes we have, I'm going to delve right in. And my first question to you would be, seeing as you've lived multiple generations and you've been around different types of culture for quite a long time, what would you say the biggest change in culture has been?
The biggest change would be young people imbibing the culture of authenticity.
Imbibing the culture of authenticity.
Yes,
Okay.
being the authentic self.
Right.
Okay? What I call Charlyboyism.
Awesome. Authentic self, Charlyboyism.
Correct.
If you were to be the minister of culture, what changes would you implement to help build or strengthen our culture?
First of all, we have to create an environment where young people can express themselves.
Yes.
It has to be, you know, in my time too, there was a reward for being good. So everybody strived to be good. Mm-hmm. This present time, there's a reward for badness.
Why do you think that is?
Because of the quick fix mentality. Do anyhow, by any means necessary. We've replaced that with the values that we grew up with. Know who you are. Okay? A good name is better than, you understand? Yeah.
I'm smiling because I'm thinking about the fact that that's one of the things that my parents instilled in us growing up.
Precise, yeah.
You know, remember whose child you are. Remember where you're coming from. And what you're saying is it still plays a role.
Yeah, that's why I say I'm stuck in the old ways.
There's nothing wrong with that because the beauty about it is you're Charlyboy.
Yes, and I can still navigate.
As the Minister of Culture, what are you going to implement?
Like I said, create an enabling environment where people can express, young people can. It's very important that young people learn to spread their wings, you know, because if we don't create that kind of environment, and that's what's happening, the future belongs to young people in the first place. So when you have an environment that kills the dream of the youths, how do you grow in that kind of environment? Because it becomes toxic.
Very
You see.
Very true. But how do you go about creating this environment, considering the
Right
people
leadership,
creating it are older?
you know, the good people, we should go back to our old values, you know, that we grew up with, you know. A good name is better than all the riches in the world, you know. Something, you know, which is a scarce commodity right now, something called integrity, being a man of honor, your word is your bond, you know. We should go back to those kind of systems.
To have you, Charlyboy, authentic self, talking about integrity, the old values, I'm really hoping that there are lots of young people listening who are able to take something away with them.
Well, you know, I spent the best of my youth rebelling against the status quo. It started from my household. Why should I eat at a certain time on the table? Why should I pray at a certain time? Why should I do this? Why should I do that? You know, I needed answers. And my father forgot that he was bringing us up to be curious, to be inquisitive, to question things. Okay? And that's the environment I grew up in. So even though that I was rebelling, those are the values, the morality that one grew up with. Those are the things I've run back to,
Yeah.
because that's all I know. That's where I'm coming from. I'm like a mix fix in this whole model.
Yes.
And that is why, for me, I've built a wall around myself to... I'm wearing a mask, as you see me so. But you know they see the mask. It's an invisible one. So I've sort of built a wall around my person to stop the pollution from outside, because there's so much pollution. There's so many things, mindset especially, because everything starts with the head.
Yes.
So, and that's why I say some people move, na follow come. No go ever there enough. You know, so to just guide myself from that toxic environment. You know? And that takes courage.
It does.
Because there's no benefit for being good anymore. It doesn't pay. And for you to still walk on the straight and narrow path, man, you must be a lion. Because I have my moments too. I cry sometimes. I cry for the things that I see that I can't change, the pains that I feel living in this kind of environment, you know, but yet nobody shall see me cry.
This sounds scary, because it almost sounds like... Okay, so let me ask. Do you think we can
I
go
know
back
this
to
wasn't the
being
part
good?
we were supposed to do, but
No, but
I
this
had
is...
to,
I love
I had
it.
to own it.
No, I really love it, because this is truth in its most authentic form.
Yeah.
And that is what... That's what this is about. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm really, really... Do you think that we can go back to the good, to good being valued?
Yeah, it depends on who sits at the throne, what they promote. Okay, like I'm the head of my family now, and I keep promoting goodness. I keep everybody, all my children, their siblings, everybody must. This bonding, I keep promoting it. And that's what I'm going to get eventually.
It all starts from one family at a time,
Yes.
promoting the right values, promoting togetherness.
At least my kids, they may be creatively weird sometimes, but they're very good kids, because my parents did a number on me, and I'm doing the biggest number on them too, you know. But but you know, with some love, with some friendship,
Yes.
you know, it's easier. You have to be deep enough, sort of, to pick and choose, you know, because that's the culture of young people. It doesn't mean that everything that is trending, that's how you follow.
Yes.
You pick and choose what's good for you.
So what do you use in that process of picking and choosing? So we have the culture of yesteryears, as it were. And then we have today's culture, which is about being more authentic. How does
There's a
one
bad
pick and
side to
choose?
this.
Okay. Okay.
You know, after just being authentic, there's another side which young people have picked up.
Okay.
That, you know, I'm not happy. Okay.
Which is?
Which is, by all means, get rich quick. The quick fix.
Yep. Yep.
The quick fix way. Okay. Because during our days, we were just having that little discussion in the room.
Yes.
You know, it was like, who's your parent?
Yes.
Where
Yes.
are you coming from?
Yes.
They didn't ask you those questions because they wanted to know whether your parents are rich or, you know, whatever.
Yes.
Okay? The people most respected at the time were, you know, teachers, people who, you understand?
Yes.
So it wasn't about how much money you had.
Yes.
It was the quality, the home you come from, the values, the principles. Those were premium at the time.
how would you then say to a young, let's even say entertainer, a lot of the young people in the entertainment industry who are about get rich quick, and then they then translate that get rich quick psyche and culture to everybody else via things like social media, what would you say to them?
That's the role that parents, good parents, must play. You know, you start off with being friends with your kids, because that's the only way you can have an effective communication going.
Yes.
The fact that they can rely on you, they trust you,
Yes.
okay, and you're open about so many things.
Yes.
The way I
Yes.
roll with my grandchildren, I mean, you start to wonder, are they really my friend or am I their grandfather, actually?
Because they can talk to you about everything.
Precisely.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
so you can be able to help guide them. No, I don't think this is too cool. I think you should follow this path. But at all times, it has to be what they want to do.
They being the younger person.
Yes.
In trying to achieve their authentic self.
Yes.
And still holding on to the cultural values.
Well, you know, there's a little confusion there. You know, when you talk about culture, you talk about tradition.
Yes.
You know, I know sometimes people don't seem to
Understand which is which.
Yes.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
tradition should be really what is passed on from generation to generation. Okay,
Yes.
if you're in the midst of an, you know, elderly people, you have to act a certain way and all of that.
Yes.
You know, you don't break that because that's tradition. That's the message handed down by your parents' parents, you know, on, okay?
Yes.
But it's the 21st century now.
Yes.
So while we are observing all of that, we're taking the good.
What two positive and two negative cultural changes would you say have impacted who we are today? And what is the one singular message you want to leave us with to help us become better people tomorrow?
Well, my people have this saying that what's good for the goose is not necessarily good for the gander.
Yes.
So in everything that you consume, that becomes part of your culture.
Yes.
You must know exactly what to pick and what to throw away. Okay? But in all of this, navigating through all of our problems this day, I think the best thing for any individual, especially young people, is to not to allow, which I think I played a certain role in all of that, not to allow anybody or any situation or any environment kill their dreams.
Thank you so much for this. I believe that in this short amount of time, we've been able to know you better, and through you understand our culture better and the culture of tomorrow.
Because I know they finish.
We'll continue to unpack you.
Do I get a hug for all of this?
Definitely. Unfortunately, I can't get up.
Okay, don't worry, I will.
Once we're off air, definitely. I'm so honored. I was actually quite nervous to interview you this morning.
And I was nervous, to tell you the truth, I was nervous to even come and say culture. Waiting I would talk with. Oh, I say, oh. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think
and
it's
that's
been
what
excellent.
happens really when you walk from here.
Yes.
When you walk from here is the best thing.
Yes, it is.
I wouldn't say I wasn't nervous myself. As many times I've been before crowds, I still get butterflies.
Yes.
You know, I'm only human, you know.
Yes. That is a huge endorsement. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
for having me.